in this cage is a queen from another colony and a couple of her attendants. And I'm just trying to gauge the mood of this colony as to whether they're likely to accept her, whether I could run her straight in, she's a laying queen, or whether I'm going to need to leave her in that queen cage dangling on a frame inside the colony for a little while, a day or two, so that they get used to her smell. So at the moment, no one is curling their bums down and trying to sting her. There's a thing called Velcro bees. If they don't like the queen, if you're trying to introduce a new queen, they will hang on with their front legs and they will try and curl their bums down to sting and get rid of her. And you can't move them with your finger. Hence Velcro bees. They're not easy to shift when they're hanging on with their front legs. But these are not Velcro bees, so that is a good sign that they might accept this queen. The reason I want them to accept this new queen is that I had a look today in this colony and they're not doing very well because they had their own queen, but she was a poorly mated queen. And what we were getting was frames with some worker brood on, but also drone brood on. They also don't have huge numbers, which is why I've pinched a frame of old capped brood. You can tell it's old because the wax is dark, where the bees have marched across it for several weeks. That's what that green writing is, donated OC, old capped. And I removed the queen that was in this colony, the one who was poorly mated, and disposed of her. She was quite a small queen as well. If they've got quite a small abdomen, then question mark over whether they've mated properly or not. Maybe it was too rainy and she couldn't get out much. All sorts of reasons why she might not be well mated. And I got rid of the old queen about an hour ago maximum. So it's a little bit early to run the queen in straight away. But I have to say the bees are looking really accepting of her so far. I'll keep watching for a while. Still looking good. Nobody is trying to sting her through those bars there, through the grid of the plastic queen cage. A colony is supposed to know within a few hours that they're queenless if you remove a queen from the colony. Although, I mean, who actually knows on that? Bees themselves know, I imagine, fairly quickly if the queen's pheromone is no longer in the hive. This colony was made this year, actually, from a queen cell from another colony, Hive 2, one of my favourite colonies. And I thought they were fine. I found the queen, marked the queen. She wasn't a great queen, she wasn't a big queen. And this is the result. She has not done a great job. She's not laying very well. I'm getting patches of worker caps, but next to them, in amongst, I am getting drone bullets, which stick up like little round bullets. I suppose you can see some. Probably. That's sticking up one there. That would be drone. That one there would be a drone. That's not what we want. We want worker brood. Because if a colony lays lots of drones and no workers, they are doomed to fail. They will die. Drones don't actually do much. The male bees, the drones, they loaf around expecting to be fed by the female workers. And their only job really, as far as we know, is to go out and mate with the virgin queen when she goes out on mating flights. And there we go, she's in. The queen cage is designed to have a queen in it and some attendants and a plug of fondant at the end, and also an end cap that can be opened. So introducing a queen to a colony, you would dangle this in for a few days in a queenless colony, and then if they've displayed the behaviour I've just witnessed, means they're okay with her. So then you would actually pop the plastic end plug cap, and the bees would eat that white fondant out of the way, which means the queen could then be released into the colony. At the moment I've just got a bee having free supper with the fondant. Right, so fingers crossed that has worked. They are sounding very calm, they are looking very calm. And I will know in a few days, if I go in and see fresh eggs, that has worked. Safe route would have been to use the queen cage, but I'm trusting my experience there that there was no aggression shown towards that queen and that she was safe to run in. Of course, I could be wrong. Time will tell. So this is a perspex crown board. I love these because you can see what your bees are doing without actually opening them up and disturbing them. The hole here in the middle, I have this bit of mesh over at the moment, is to allow the beekeeper to feed the colony, again without opening them up and disturbing them. Mostly you feed in winter if your colony is a bit light, but you can feed in summer or at times of nectar dearth. Often there might be a gap. The June gap is known when the spring plants and trees and flowers have finished flowering and before the summer ones come out. Although this year I don't think there has been much of a June gap. I think it's been more of an issue towards the end of May with the very, very dry weather and plants not producing nectar. And then it rained a lot, so the bees couldn't get out, so colonies got hungry that way. I'm going to feed this colony with some sugar syrup just to help them draw out some of the new frames of bare wax foundation sheet. They need to draw hexagonal comb on it. This is a feeder bowl with a chimney, I guess you could describe it, in the middle. So the hole there is going to line up with the hole there, and so the bees will be able to climb up here, out and over the top. This will be in place, which stops them getting in the syrup and drowning, and they will just be able to come up over the top, climb down the outside wall of the chimney, which is ridged, so they can grip, and whatever level the food drops to, they'll be able to access it. Feed is now in place. If you have a look, straight down into the colony there where the bees are milling about underneath. They'll soon figure out, here comes one, that there's food up here. Here's the sugar syrup, mixed at 1:1, so 1 kilogram of water, 1 kilogram of sugar. One reason for doing this is that hungry bees are angry bees, and I don't want them not to accept that new queen or have any reason to be antsy about her. So I'm giving them a little bit of food. Right, now I'm going to close them up because beehives should be dark, not light. The queen certainly will have scurried down to the bottom because queens do not like the light. All done up now, nice tight ratchet strap. Again, keeping all parts of the hive compressed together. Now we just have to wait and see. Where did my laying queen come from? Well, she came from this little baby colony called a nucleus colony, because when I checked them today, even though they're not out of space, they have made themselves one lovely big fat supersedure cell with one other queen cell attached inside of it. Not swarm cells, but they obviously didn't like their queen and they were going to replace her. So it's very handy being able to take the queen from these girls, who are all set to commit regicide in a few days, and transplant her into the colony that needed her. And I will know in a few days, probably give it 7 days, whether these girls have accepted the queen I transplanted in the other colony. You can see I've got a bit of foam in there because I wanted to reduce the size of the slot there in the entrance bar. Give them a smaller front door to guard against other bees.